jumped in a 5-ton truck, 5-ton deuce and a half, not sure. I didn't see this vehicle, and I pulled on the highway, and I disintegrated this car with some people in it. Sitting there, I was stuck in the truck for a couple minutes, listening to these people scream. So right away, I thought the worst thing that I killed these people. Okay, my name is Tony White. I'm 67 years old. I was born in Oakland, California. All right. So my family. I come from a family where my father, the family tradition was the military. My father was in the Navy. I joined, and I was in the Army. When I got out, my brother joined the Army, and now my nephew's in the Army. So we kind of have this family tradition. I remember growing up, going to the Alameda Naval Air Base, all the Army trucks, everything around Oakland. I mean, it was just like Army happening. And that was my dream. When I got older, I wanted to join the Army. I believe we lived on a street called East 14th or MacArthur, right down the smack of Oakland. It was some interesting things growing up. I remember Martin Luther King getting shot, being sent home from school. I remember the Kennedy deals, both them and Oakland kind of took it really bad. As we grew up, I started adventuring, family-wise, adventuring towards Fremont, San Jose, Milpitas, and all that, and ended up growing up till I was like 17 years old, 17 and a half. And then finally, I got my chance to join the Army. The recruiter came. I took a test. He asked me, "What is it you'd like to do?" I asked him, "Well, what's the best thing to do? What's the easiest thing?" And he talked me getting into the armor. So my mom signed the papers for me, 17 years old, and I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky. I did 3 months training, AIT, and basic training, and then I came home on leave. Went to Leonard Skinner with my friend. He got busted. And from that, I went back and I headed to Germany. When I got to Germany, it was such a different place, and it was all about seeing all new stuff and everything. It was probably the best deal I ever had in my life. I was young, man. I was on these big, giant armored vehicles, you name it, M60, M48, the Sheridan, M113, Deuce and a Halfs, howitzers. All that stuff was in my unit. I was with the 11th ACR. I loved it. I was getting trained by this Arab guy that was like, I don't know, into the art of war. He was really serious about what he did. Trained me really good. We got like a little job on the side in my unit, demonstrating weapons. It was pretty neat. It was like acting and everything. All along we were practicing for war. Anyway, all the reforgers, Grafenwehr, gunnery ranges, all that great stuff over in Germany was beautiful. I loved it. The rain, yes, it was me. I reenlisted, and then about 3 months after I reenlisted, oh, excuse me, yeah, I reenlisted. About 3 months after I reenlisted, we were on exercise, and I was thrown out of an armored vehicle. Probably thrown about 30 feet. Um, Back then, I was so young, tough and everything. They took me back to a medical place. Within 24 hours, I was out on the vehicle again. It kind of got to me a little bit. I started kind of thinking, my damn, I could have died and all this stuff. And we kept on going. Everybody was tough. I mean, it was all being the cab. So a little more time passed by, and I reenlisted for another 3 years, and I made E4, and things were going pretty good. And then one night, I got involved in something I wish I never would have got involved in. A couple guys were beating on a couple crew members of mine, and I jumped in. And then next thing you know, I started getting my life threatened and everything. I wasn't. I was shaking it off. I was drinking a little bit. I was kind of like, everything's all right. It started getting to me, and then I got put in headquarters platoon. I was a truck driver, and I got this stuff going on in my mind. Man, damn, made a couple mistakes and everything. One day I was getting ready to go on border patrol. I was getting ready to jump in a truck, and I ran into one of the guys. Man, he's like got this pipe, kind of shook me up. We said. He went this way, I went this way, but still wasn't thinking right. It was time to roll out to the border, and I jumped in a 5-ton truck, 5-ton deuce and a half, not sure. Going through the woods, everything was good, and then I went to turn on a hardball road. That's the asphalt, regular highway. I didn't see this vehicle, and I pulled on the highway, and I disintegrated this car with some people in it. That right there, it it kind of flipped me out. I mean, I was sitting there, I was stuck in the truck for a couple minutes, listening to these people scream. This car not in flames, but sparking and sounded like it was going to blow up or whatever. I finally got out. My sergeant, I started to go towards the car. The sergeant, hey, 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 you better come over here. So right away, I thought the worst thing that I killed these people. I ended up getting a ticket, failure to yield to the right of way. It was a mistake. It was a mistake that affected me. Anyway, the thing kind of got to me. I kind of downward spiraled. Still had these people that were pissed off at me. I ended up asking, is there any way I can get transferred to another unit, or can I go stateside? They said absolutely no. My mental health got a little more crazier. I went to this place called Schweinfurt, a hospital, and ended up asking the doctor, hey, look, I just want to get out. Thinking, he told me I was going to get an honorable discharge and everything. So I took it. I ended up taking a big plane across the Atlantic to North Carolina, South Carolina, I think Fort Bragg. And ended up in this place kind of like a detention center, looked like a little prison. And they took away all my uniform, all my stuff, just left me in civilian clothes and kicked me on another flight to California. When I got back, I didn't say nothing to nobody. I had 2 honorable discharges. I just started partying. That's how I killed the pain. I had a lot of stuff. Back then, I thought I killed like 3 people. And I just would drink and party, drink and party, drink and party. I got jobs. People gave me jobs because of my, coming back from Germany and veteran and all that stuff. A lot of people helped me out. But deep down inside, I had this pain. A lot of drinking, a lot of. I wasn't that much into meth and coke and everything. I think they had back then. They had these black beauties. I had this Harley 3-wheeler, old 45 flathead. I just tried to go to school. I tried to be a functional of society and everything. And I just, I had these nightmares. I had this anxiety. I constantly had these problems. I've, not going to lie, I kind of put my family through the ringers with my PTSD, my not being able to sleep at night, anxiety, my alcoholism, my drug addiction. They've always been there to help me. They've watched me go through these programs over and over and over again. Most of all, one night I was coming down off one of my so-called trips, and I was laying in bed, and I was like, God, man, put me in a program again. Put me in a, give me some help. Then my daughter walked in. She had like I could see these tears in her eyes, and she's, Dad, are you gonna be all right? And it just, man, it crushed me. And I told her, yes, I'm gonna be all right, man. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna get back in another program. And she shut the door, and I remember like praying to God. And then about 10 minutes after that, this lady friend of mine from the VA or military, I can't even remember her name. Hey, your friend Dave's up in this program up in Monterey, and you should try to get up there. It's pretty good. I said, thank you. All right. So the next day I called that. They told me I needed like 2 weeks to be cleansed, and I can come in the program. I followed directions. I went down and I hung out at the VA in Palo Alto for 16 days, every day during the day. I did not use, and I finally got that phone call, and I got clean. I packed a duffel bag full of clothes and everything, and jumped on my motorcycle, and I was happy, like on 101, probably smiling all the way to Marina, California. I did the program pretty good for 3 years, a job there, and worked for 10 years. Everything was going good. Things kind of changed at the job, and then my little anxiety and everything started getting back into drinking. That turned into something else, and then I had to get help again. But anyway, to get back to it, I put my family through a pretty much hell. They kind of realized, you know, with the VA and all that stuff, and it's hard. And after about 4 years was my first attempt to go to the VA. I told them all this stuff, and back then they gave me a program, and they were really like disciplined back then. You had to do this, you do this, you do this. They're still kind of a discipline, but back then it was like being in the service. Anyway, I believe I blew out of the program. Every 5 years or something like that, I would try to go to the VA. I would try to get help. Eventually, after about 6 programs through Palo Alto and Menlo Park and the state of California through the Veterans Administration, things started getting a little bit better. I had longer times of holding it together, and then eventually life would get to me, and I would fall apart and go get help again. Around 2017, I finally got a job. Well, I became a resident at Veterans Transitional Center. After about 3 years, I got a job there, so I got a place to live, doing maintenance and everything. And my boss and the deputy director kind of knew about my anxiety, my depression, and everything. They knew one of them was in the same unit I was in, just a different timeline, and he kind of knew where I was coming from. 10 years, I was able to work, and then when I had one of my episodes or something like that, I was allowed to say, "Hey, I need to take a time out, do some stuff, and everything." Now, I'm a grandfather, and I got two beautiful autistic kids. My daughter tells me that I might have been autistic, and I probably am. But it's everybody loves their kids. Everybody's kids are beautiful, but this special needs thing, it touches my heart. There's a whole different kind of love. 10-year-old grandson, he's really autistic, can't speak. The only thing, no, no, no. But the love and him getting out of the truck, holding my hand when we go to Great America and all that stuff. And I need to do more of that. My brother, we go to the races once or twice a year together. I go over and visit him in Modesto. And my sister, we used to do things together a lot more, but she kind of got her thing going, I got my thing going, but we still love each other. Right now, my mom is in the hospital for pneumonia again, and I had to take her, and we went to Kaiser, and I didn't know that you had to go through like a TSA deal, like at the airport, going to Kaiser. And I kind of panicked. My shit kind of came on me. Whenever I see them walking around with guns and all that stuff, it kind of freaks me out. Or like, man, why are they under high security, or is something going to happen? I always think a bomb's going to go off or something like that. My family is one half, and then I have another family. I don't want to go into it, but I'm blessed. As much as I've stumbled and fell, my family, my counselors, my peer support specialists, everybody keeps sticking with me. I don't think anybody ever like, oh, he's just a dumbass or whatever. Everybody has always worked with me, as crazy as I am. Eventually, anytime now, I'm waiting for my credit to get better, and I'm going to try to purchase a home for the first time in my life. During my whole life, man, I have my mom, my brother, my whole family. Hey, man, why don't you try to go get some compensation from the VA from this stuff that happened to you? Oh, I don't deserve it. They're just going to tell me because they're the VA, when you come to the compensation side, is so scary. The first thing is like you serve your country. You try to go get compensation for like your hearing loss or this happened, or in my instance, peacetime, I killed these people and everything. Tried to get my records, and it was like they would just send you thousands. I mean, a book of paperwork. I didn't know how to fill out this paperwork. A couple times I got help from I think GAV and some other deals. Finally, from going, huh, huh, the majority of my life, and I finally got compensated for the ringing in my ears and my hearing loss. Once I got compensated for, I started learning some techniques about the different things that you can do if you run into one of your tinnitus episodes and you're in a room. And I got hearing aids. I learned to work with that, and it was pretty good. But I still had this anxiety, a feeling of something's gonna happen, fall apart, or someone's chasing me, or anyway, someone's out to get me. Deal. It was very hard for me to go to a football game or a baseball game and sit in the seats and everything with all the crowds. Found that I can do a racetrack because it's wide open. You can walk around. I feel a little more comfortable. There was a couple other things towards the end of my career at VTC. I kept on being told, man, you need to go work with these people. You need to go work with these people. And I finally got a lawyer, and that lawyer helped. Starting to deal with this thing with the lawyer, I knew that it was going to be rough. I started using and drinking, and then I put myself in a program. And then after that program, I went to a longer program, and it worked out pretty good because for the first time in my life, I could understand. I before I would finally conk out at night, I would get up and I'd constantly look out the door, see if everything's all right. I was always on some kind of security patrol or something like that. I've had episodes, a lot of episodes, but I'll tell you one that I remember. I was going to some soccer game at the Stamford Stadium, and the line was so bad, I got caught like an hour and a half into it, into like four lanes going one way. I was trapped in the middle, and then I had an anxiety outburst. I had a panic attack. I found out that this is the kind of situations when I'm trapped, like traffic. Traffic gets me riled up. I'm still trying every day. It doesn't take much to rattle me up. I go to my VA therapy, mental health appointments, and all that stuff. I came up here, Dave, because I left my medication in my trailer. It's tough. I especially feel bad for the other people, that just gave up. When they say that you need to try to get help for your disabilities, it is a fight. It's more of a fight. Well, I let me back up. It is a different fight, but it is a fight. It takes a toll on your self-esteem. It takes a toll on your just your trust issues today. I mean, I think that the insurance companies, the government, everybody's out to just get you, and every time you file for something, it's denial, denial, denial. And I'm constantly trying to take myself out of thinking negative and try to think positive in some way, But man, $750 register a vehicle, insurance goes up twice as much. It's all that stuff of everyday living that just it's hard, it's rough. But I just wanted to share my story. There is help out there. I mean, I'm grateful for the VA. I'm grateful for I'm grateful for my friendship, my brotherhood, because they're always there for me. I'm grateful for the opportunity to try to share this, and I hope if one thing, if anybody out there is suffering, with the same kind of deal, or you relate to me or whatever, please, just press on, ask for help, just put your foot down and go forward. It's going to be hard. Thank you.
What would you tell people that look down upon veterans with mental health issues?
I don't think I have to say anything. I think that with everything going on today, people understand mental health. Not everybody is lucky to be like an Elon Musk. A lot of us just take a toll, take a beating. I don't want to go on and on and on. I have these things that run through my head, but I have to be strong enough to, what? I don't want to drink away. I don't want to use drugs to deal with it. I want to take what's going on in my head and try to deal with it. Try to use some techniques. Try to use some training that they train me. Like one of the biggest things is when I'm riled up and the anxiety's going, like if I'm driving in traffic or something like that, is I'm able to like, in a way, talk to yourself and like think before I say something that I'm gonna regret or that might get me into trouble. That's the most important thing. And if I do, this one's a hard one. Finding out my insurance doubled because of a zip code in San Jose. Uh, I mean, I get so riled up. I get so like, man, I'm taking a beating. They're ripping me off. I have to use the breathing technique, and the breathing technique is hard for me. But it seems to be one of the things to like. While you're breathing, you can kind of get some oxygen to your head and think about what you're really doing.